What is up, everybody? This is Anthony with VR365. Welcome to episode 48 of the show. It is Christmas Eve. It is Monday, and it is 12 noon. It is December 24th, and it is high noon right now. So we're about an hour later than normal. And that's because I wasn't ready. I wasn't ready, and I'm still not ready. And honestly, actually, what I was working on this previous hour is editing a Let's Play. So I will have episode 4 of VR365 Let's Play series. Episode 4. Yeah, I Am Rhett says, this show is going to be super polished because I had an extra hour to prepare. Yeah, no, that extra hour was not spent doing anything show related. It had nothing to do with that. I simply, you know what, an hour ago, my hair was all jacked up. I wasn't wearing an ironed shirt. I was totally unready. So that was just not going to happen there. On the screen right now is ATEC Cybernetic, which is a game that some people are really into. This is a game I've never played. Somehow it just slipped through the cracks. Never ended up trying ATEC Cybernetic. But yeah, what is going on, guys? I don't really have much for you today. In fact, this may be one of our shortest episodes ever. I know I say that all the time, and then we end up with a 1-hour episode. So I don't know what's ultimately going to happen today, but I'll tell you what, I don't have nothing. I have nothing. I have no trailers, nada. Well, actually, you know what? I take that back. I take that back. I do have something to talk about real quick before we get started here. And we can check the subreddits. We can check Steam. You know, we could just kind of have, this is more of a Sunday fun day show, even though today isn't Sunday. Yesterday, we did the Steam sales, and I went through a ton of Steam sales. And I didn't actually, yeah, my shirt is ironed. I don't even know if you can tell this is ironed. But man, you should have seen it before. Before it was really bad. Now it's kind of ironed. But yesterday I spent so much time on all the Steam sales and trying to run through all the different lists that I had that I wasn't really paying attention to chat. So we can pay attention to chat today. And also, I can go into the mailbag. We could take a look at mailbag. So it's going to be kind of a grab bag kind of a show, and it's just going to go in any particular direction. But we do have a correction to make. We've got a major correction to make. And let me throw a trailer on the screen as I get into this correction that I need to make. Okay, so Lethal Weasel VR made me aware of this yesterday, that I made a tremendous mistake. Well, actually, he didn't know if it was a mistake or not, but he was like voting on our wild cards, and he mentioned that the Persistence would have been on his list. He would have voted for the Persistence, but it wasn't in the list. And check this out, guys. Check this out. I completely and utterly forgot all about the Persistence. I completely forgot about it. When I did the VR Games of July, as we're going through this Game of the Year celebration, as we're marinating through all the different months, I completely ignored the Persistence, which came out in the month of July. Like, shame on me. Terrible. How terrible is that? And the other thing I gotta say is it wasn't in our list for the month of July. Now here's the reality though. The Persistence was not going to win July. Pixel Ripped 1989 won July. Hellblade would have been my second choice, but the Persistence might have been my third choice, probably my third pick for the month of July. And I completely ignored this game, completely forgot about this game, did not include it in the July breakdown, and that is simply not fair. The Persistence is a very, very solid game. It should have been mentioned in July. Now, yesterday I was asking myself this question. I was like, okay, well, I completely forgot about the persistence. Now, what should I do? Should I make the persistence an additional qualifier and simply allow it to come in to the top 25 as an additional qualifier? And then instead of looking for 4 wild cards, we would just be looking for 3 wild cards. But I came to the decision that no, as the persistence is a cool game, it really is, but I don't think it's an additional qualifier. I don't think it automatically gets locked in as an additional qualifier. However, it absolutely gets consideration as a potential wild card. So if you guys have already submitted your top 4 in the wild card voting, if you would have included the persistence in your voting, go ahead and resubmit. Go ahead and resubmit. And if you haven't submitted, let me go ahead and pop onto the screen our revised wildcard list. We've only got 2 more days of voting. It is all over after today. We've got today, we've got Christmas Eve, we've got Christmas Day, and after that, the wild card voting is over. On Wednesday, we are going to have our top 25 games of the year 2018, our Elite 25, where we're going to come up with a top 10, we're going to come up with a top 5, we're going to come up with the overall #1 VR game of the year, we're going to come up with games in different categories and all those kinds of things. But first, we need 4 wild cards, and we have been getting quite a bit of votes. Much love to everybody out there that has jumped over to our Discord server and they have thrown in their votes. For example, Fluke. Fluke is in the building. He has put his votes in. I Am Ruts has put his votes in. A lot of people in chat actually have put their votes in, but we still don't have votes for everybody. In fact, I don't think Kevin Mars, for example, Kevin Mars is in chat. I don't believe I have a vote for Kevin Mars. I don't believe I have any vote from Andrew Rogers. I'm looking through names in chat. I don't think I got a vote from Ryan Hawley or Conrad Lawrence. I did believe I got some votes from T-Dub. We did get votes from Turtle. And so, we got votes from a lot of these people, but we don't have votes from everybody. So you might want to go ahead and submit your vote. Hop into our Discord server and go ahead and submit your vote. But here are the possible wildcards. Ken, it arrived in January. Did not win Game of the Month. That went to Primordian. Sprint Vector, it arrived in, I believe, February. And Game of the Month for February is in Death. The Forest, I believe this arrived in May, and the May Game of the Month was Beat Saber. Seeking Dawn arrived in the month of July, and The Persistence also arrived in the month of July. Our Game of the Month for July was Pixel Ripped 1989. Torn arrived in August. Wait, was Torn August? I think, yeah, Torn was August. Torn was very late August. Our game for the month of August, Firewall 0 Hour. Vox Machina arrived in September. Our game of September, Windlands 2. Twilight Path. Twilight Path and Evasion both arrived in the month of October. Our game of the month for October was Astrobot. Transpose and 10 Hearts both arrived in November. Our game of the month for November was Scraper. I like saying it like that. I don't know why. And Arca's Path and Blade and Sorcery are representing December. Our game of the month for December is Contractors VR. We also have our additional wild cards. We have our additional wild cards. I mean, not wild cards. We have our additional qualifiers. We've got 21 games. 21 games are locked in, but 4 more are going to come from this list. We do need your guys' votes, and that is only for today on Christmas Eve and tomorrow on Christmas Day. And our Discord link, yes, it is in our YouTube description. It's actually an invitation to our Discord. You just click on that, If you have a Discord account, you are locked and loaded. You are ready to go. And we do have a pretty good community in our Discord server, I believe. I mean, I don't know. I'm kind of new to Discord myself. I'm just getting used to Discord. But I do believe we have a pretty good community over there in Discord. So it's a good place to join up and jump over there, give us a holler, and talk about some different things. In fact, just earlier today, we got back into the whole AR, VR discussion on Discord, and we were kind of going back and forth about AR and VR. And I'm not going to get into that, but you know what? We might go into the mailbag a little bit later, and maybe we'll get into some of that mailbag stuff. So now what are we going to do? So basically, yeah, that's it. That's all I had for today, is an apology about the persistence, a reminder about our wild card voting, and that's it. That's it for the show. That's going to wrap it up. Now, you know, what we could do real quick here is let's take a quick look at the various news sites out there, and we'll take a quick look at the subreddits. We'll see what's going on here. It is going to be shiitake mushrooms for everybody. So let's go ahead and switch over to our Webby browser. And here we are. This is Upload VR. It is everybody's favorite VR website. And let's see what they're talking about over here. Pottery in VR is like that scene in Ghost, but with just a ghost. Yeah, we all remember that scene in Ghost, don't we? Google Lens now recognizes over 1 billion products. Yeah, you want to talk about our AI overlords. Think about Google, guys. Have you ever just thought about Google? And have you ever thought about the search engine for Google? All they have to do is feed all the information that goes into that search engine into an AI, and they've basically got the most powerful AI in the world. Think of all the information. Think of every little thing that somebody types into the Google search to figure something out. That is just invaluable information. It is so incredibly valuable. That is why Google is one of the most valuable companies on planet Earth. But if you guys checked out the stock market today, oh my God, it has been hammered in a major, major way. I do not participate in the stock market, but I've kind of been interested in maybe getting back into it. I'm watching a number of different companies. You know, I watched the stock price for Facebook and for NVIDIA and for Intel and for Google and Apple and all of these companies. And I'm telling you guys, a lot of these companies are at their 52-week low. And if you have like an 18-month window, a lot of these companies are probably going to bounce back in the next 18 months, unless we just go into a full-blown recession. But yeah, Google, I mean, you can get a share of their stock for like $1,000 a share. Okay, PSVR Mobile, Dark Eclipse gets 3 new heroes and winter skins. Dave & Buster's rolls out new Dragon Frost VR attraction. Yeah, you know, just not much is going on here on the news sites. Let's go ahead and bounce over to Road to VR, see if they got anything different over there. I'm going to go ahead and give this one real quick refresh, update it just real quickly here. Okay, you know what? Why don't we click on this, because I have not actually read this. The Oculus Quest is going to be arriving in the spring, and we are days away from the year 2019. Dude, 2019, can you believe this? I remember when the year 2000 was like this distant thing off into the future, and everybody was going to have a flying car in the year 2000, and there were going to be hotels on the moon. And we're about to enter the year 2019. How many times do you think I'm going to say 2018, 2018, 2018 when it's actually 2019? I'm going to do it a million times. I guarantee you that. Okay, but let's see what this story is all about. So, let's see, blah, 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 blah. Okay, filings for the headset from Facebook have appeared at the U.S. Federal Communications Commission, the FCC. While the documents don't specifically name Quest, a diagram shows what appears to be the signature silhouette of the headset, and model number aligns nicely with the company's prior headset, Oculus Go. So unless we've just discovered a previously unknown headset, this filing is for the Quest. And so, yeah, it's kind of much ado about nothing. Now, the F8 conference will be held on April 30th and on May 1st. And most likely, we're looking at a launch for the Oculus Quest on April 30th. So, yeah, you know, it's basically four full months away for the Oculus Quest. We will be looking forward to the Oculus Quest in the not too distant future. You know, the Steam sale and the Oculus sale, I mean, we've gone over all of that. We've beat that into the ground. So I don't think we need to beat that anymore. So why don't we go ahead and switch over to the subreddits. Let's go ahead and see what is going on the various subreddits. I'll give this a nice refresh here. This, of course, is the HTC Vive subreddit. And natural locomotion feet tracker support released in beta. So this is an announcement on Steam. It's an actual Steam announcement here. You can finally walk with your feet. We were planning this update since Nalo was released back in April. Note that the feature is still experimental, so please report your experience in the forums. So yeah, you can use feet trackers and you can walk around with your feet. Oh, you know, one of the other things I did hear about, and I think it was on Road to VR actually. Actually, why don't we go back to Road to VR? Did you guys hear about this isn't it, but they created like, oh, right here, Winter Peak. Like, I don't know if I mentioned this the other day or not, but there's a new Valve Belt environment in Steam VR. It's called Winter Peak, and I kind of want to check that out. Looks kind of cool. I'd like to check this out, but I have not checked that out. But yeah, that's what I was thinking about for a second there. Okay, just going back here over to the Vive subreddit. Budget cuts 50% off. Tempted by budget cuts, but does it run okay on entry level? No, it doesn't. Budget cuts just doesn't run very well, period. I've got this new super powered PC now. I mean, it's not like super duper powered, but pretty good damn Ryzen CPU. I got 16 gigs of RAM now. I got the 1080 Ti. Everything is operating at full efficiency. And you know what? I jumped into budget cuts. It was still a little bit janky. So not the most friendly game for an entry-level gaming PC or an entry-level VR rig. That is not the game that you want to roll with, I don't think. Here's an interesting topic. Any expectations from CES 2019? Let me go ahead and click on this. Going to make a stop by NVIDIA, Intel, but there doesn't seem to be much going on this year. The only hope is for indie developers and startups in Eureka Hall. Well, you know what? I mean, there could be something major. There could be something absolutely major at CES this year. In fact, remember, we did have the trademarking of the name Vive Cosmos. Vive Cosmos was trademarked. So we got to imagine there is going to be a product called Vive Cosmos. And who knows? The Winter Consumer Electronics Show, you could have HTC show up there with a brand new headset. Think about all the time that has passed. And we haven't heard a peep about a legitimate next level HTC hardware device. We know about the Oculus Quest. We know that, what do you call it? Yosemite. What am I thinking of? Half Dome. We know that Half Dome is off into the future, but we've seen these glimpses of new technologies from some of these other companies. But HTC, I mean, yeah, we had, you know, the Vive Pro and all that, but the Vive Pro was not really the headset we were looking for. You know, it's more of a 1.5. It's not a legit 2.0. And there's going to be a 2.0 headset that's going to come from HTC. There's no question about it. And I do believe the Winter Consumer Electronics Show, that is a possibility. Of course, a lot of people will point towards GDC as being a possible unveiling for something like that as well. And then there's also LG. LG is going to have their keynote for the Winter Consumer Electronics Show last year. I remember I watched the LG keynote with tremendous interest last year, I thought that's when the next big headset was coming. I thought it was coming from LG. I thought it was going to have the knuckles. I thought that's why I sold my Vive, because I thought I was going to be getting an LG headset. And, you know, I was off the mark. But here we are. It is 1 year later. It's 1 year later. Maybe LG will arrive with a major headset. Maybe that is the mystery headset. Maybe it's Vive Cosmos. I don't know. But the Consumer Electronics Show, it is coming up. It's not too far away. In fact, why don't I do a quick Google search here? I don't know what day it actually starts. So let's look. Consumer Electronics Show 2019. Let's see, when does this start? Okay, so January 8th through the 11th. Tuesday, January 8th. So this is what we're looking at right here on Tuesday, January 8th, and it runs through Friday, January 11th. I've never been to the CES. I've been to Las Vegas a couple of times, but I've never been to the CES. I would like to go to the CES. You know, maybe 2020. I don't think I'm going to be going this year, but maybe 2020 I could go to the CES. Never been there. I know it's really hectic and crazy, and it's just gigantic and huge. Now, Hybrid Energy says LG is out of the VR game. I don't know about that, Hybrid. I don't know. Let's look up LG in VR, because I know. Let me see, LG VR. Let's look this up, because I remember there was a story about some kind of like was it patent? LG VR patent. Let's look up LG VR patent. We are doing live Google searches, ladies and gentlemen. How kind of lame is it? Yeah, okay, this is, look, December 12th. December 12th, LG files patent for VR headset with haptic feedback and 6 cameras. Our favorite website of all time, VR Focus. Not. But hand tracking, yeah, this was the thing with hand tracking. Look at it, it has all these haptic sensors. And doesn't everybody remember that? Hybrid Energy, you're off the mark, buddy. No, I mean, you're not necessarily off the mark. This was filed, when was this filed? I believe this was spotted by the ever reliable Let's Go Digital. And I'm trying to see, when was this patent filed? Not seeing it in here. Did I miss it? Blah 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 blah. Not seeing, when was this filed? Published last week. Okay, so I guess it was published last week. So I mean, it wasn't filed that long ago. Why would LG file this like patent design if they weren't going to have? I mean, if they're not working on VR anymore, it doesn't mean they're going to release this product. But I still believe that LG could enter into the mix. So I do believe LG could enter the mix. So, you know, that is coming up. It's a possibility for this Consumer Electronics Show. This is what we're talking about here on January 8th. That's when that kicks off. So we do have a little while for that. So those are our expectations for CES. I mean, LG and HTC, they are possibly both in the mix. And who knows, maybe a wild card company, maybe a company that we're not thinking about could come out of the blue. That is something that we got to hope for. Some excitement. Like, don't you want some big time excitement? Oh, you know what? This is something that we can talk about right here. So, do you guys remember the story when we first heard about Polybius? And I went to this Steam page for Polybius, and it said that it was only for the Oculus Rift. And so for a couple of days, we were like, whoa, Polybius only works for the Oculus Rift. And then I could have sworn that we had a tweet from Llamasoft that said that that was a mistake, that that was an accident, like whoever made the Steam page made a mistake on that. But I guess it's not a mistake, because I guess you cannot play Polybius right now on your HTC Vive. It says, looks like we will be getting a Vive kit in the new year. So we should be able to support it in Polybius and Mav 1 pretty soon. So I guess you cannot play Polybius in a regular HTC Vive? Like, that's kind of weird to me. Let's switch over here. Let me look up Polybius, because I could have sworn that this was like an actual topic and it was something that we were interested in. And I thought a day later we found out that it was some kind of mistake. So here we are. This is the Polybius Steam page right here. And it's got positive reviews. It is going for 18 bucks. But yeah, you go down here, it just says Oculus Rift. There is no HTC Vive right here. And I'm kind of wondering, does this really not, like, this does not work on the HTC Vive? It simply doesn't work. So I wonder what was that tweet, or what did we hear a long time ago where they said that was a mistake and it would work just fine? So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Polybius, but I thought that was kind of interesting and kind of abnormal there. But Arthans VR, they're the ones that are reporting that I guess you can't just play Polybius. You can't just fire it up and it'll just work. So I don't know. That's kind of weird. But if somebody has a Vive and they have Polybius, maybe go ahead and report back. Maybe that's not really the case. So we're just scrolling through here. Picked up Moss for my 9-year-old son, and I can't stop playing it myself. Yeah. What about like putting your 9-year-old son in VR? Isn't, those of you that have young children, do you let them play VR? Do you let them play VR for long periods of time? I remember when I first got VR, well, let's see, that was 2016. I think my youngest son had just turned, like he was just about to turn 13. So I didn't really worry about it. And he wasn't in VR very, I wasn't like putting him into VR for hours and hours and hours at a time. Here's another Moss. This is on the Oculus subreddit. We just went ahead and bounced over to the Oculus subreddit. Moss is a gorgeous game with an adorable little mouse. I cried a little. Why did I wait so long? Wow. Oh, this is Matthew Lake. Matthew Lake is in our chat quite often. So this is actually a review by our boy Matthew Lake. And Moss is an adorable game, especially Quill. That little mouse is adorable. And when that little mouse is running around, it's a she, right? It's a little girl mouse that's running around. And she makes little noises here and there, just minor little noises that just add so much. Charles Van Nolan says, I let my 7-year-old and 4-year-old play VR. Okay, my question is, but for only an hour max, usually more like 30 minutes. And Martino Movie says, I let my 12-year-old play for 30 minutes once a week. Yeah, I mean, I don't think... See, the thing is, we have these little eye muscles. And I guess the only real fear with putting your kids into VR for too long is that you're activating different eye muscles that normally might not... I don't know. I mean, it's probably much ado about nothing, to be totally honest. It's probably much ado about nothing, but it's one of these things where we don't know for sure. So a lot of the companies like Sony, I believe Sony says not suitable for children under the age of 12. So basically, if you're 11, 10, 9, 8, whatever, they say it's not suitable. And I think 12 years old, I think that's what Nintendo has for like the Nintendo 3DS and a number of different companies. Like I think their official take is right there at 12, right there at 13 years old, right around there. And it's because I think at that point in time, your eye muscles have been fully developed by that point in time. So there's no real concern, but they're really just covering their ass. Now, having said all of that, if I had a 4-year-old, I don't know that I would be putting my 4-year-old in VR, to be totally honest, like Charles Van Nolan. And Charles Van Nolan, man, he doesn't like that 5G, but he'll let his 4-year-old play some Polybius. Now, I don't know what he's letting him play. But yeah, I mean, if you put him in there for a little bit, it's not too bad. But it's hard. It's hard because if you have little kids, I remember... When you have little kids, they want to do whatever the hell it is that you're doing. If you have a tablet, they want your tablet. That's the way it is with little kids. And so you would kind of have to hide VR if you never wanted your kids to play VR. You'd have to like wait for them to go to sleep and stuff and kind of hide it. And then we're going to start to have these portable, we already have like Oculus Go and everything. Portable VR that anybody could use really quick and really easily. But I do have a little bit of worries out there because we're mostly responsible people. Like we're not going to leave our kids in VR for 4 hours at a time. But I guarantee you there is somebody out there that just lets their kids play VR all damn day. And they just, like, there's people that let their kids play Fortnite 10 hours straight, even if they're like 7 years old. There's people that really do that. And they're going to let their kids into VR for crazy amounts of time. And we're just going to have to find out if there is any kind of eventual side effects from that. And then AR is going to be a factor as well. You know, AR is going to come into the mix, and it's going to be the same deal with AR. Sloth Monkey says, my girls, 9 and 11, love the heck out of VR. They don't get to play much either when my wife is around. My youngest keeps going back to Waltz of the Wizard. It's awesome, but I'm sick of it. Yeah, I bet you she likes Waltz of the Wizard because of your ability to, like, make chairs float and then throw them against the wall and, you know, do those kinds of magical things. Charles Van Nolan says she plays Crow the Legend. How awesome would that, if you were like a 4 or 5 year old and you went into Crow the Legend? Like, that is super dope. A lot of the experiences, there's a lot of cool experiences that would be great. What about Henry? How incredible would Henry be for a little kid to go into Henry? Like, I could not even imagine if I was a little kid and I played Henry. Or Astrobot. I mean, think how awesome Astrobot would be a kid. Martino Movie says, when my son is 16, I'm going to let him play VR Paradise. Yeah, that's what we do. When you hit your 16th birthday, you immediately play VR Paradise. It's like, okay, son, you're now a man. Here you go. Here's VR Paradise. Now remember, son, make sure to center your view and then stand up and walk about 2 feet behind them, son. That's what you really want to do. Look over their shoulder. That's what you want to do, son. Absolutely. I have an 18-year-old and a 15-year-old. And I've thought about, like, I'll even let my 15-year-old go into VR Paradise. He's seen much worse. I haven't let them done that, but like my 18-year-old, I'd let him go into VR Paradise just to see, just to see how crazy shit is coming along in this VR world. Sloth Monkey says, my kids make me play Dreadhalls and they watch. I can't believe I have something like 40 hours in that game. Yeah, Dreadhalls is fun. It's a fun game. Paradise Decay says, Anthony, my 6-year-old thinks Henry is a real character. He loves it. Hell yeah. Why wouldn't Henry be a real character? Yeah. Kids are going to be so damn spoiled. But the truth is, they're not really spoiled because every generation has this. Like, when I was 7 years old, I believe I was 7 years old, we got an Atari 2600 for Christmas. You know, this is Christmas Eve. So why don't we go into some of the Christmas stories? And I can tell you guys, Christmas of whatever year that was, we got an Atari, an Atari VCS, video computer entertainment system, or whatever it was, an Atari VCS, probably my favorite Christmas memory ever. An Atari, oh my God, hooking that Atari up to our old TV and playing it. And I'm sure back then when that happened, like, anybody that saw it happening was like, oh my God, these kids are so freaking spoiled. But every generation has their own thing, you know. So we feel like they're spoiled, but every generation has their own thing. But yeah, that is, it's interesting just to see, you know, how long do people put their kids into VR games. Okay, why don't we go ahead and check out the PSVR subreddit. Let's see what's going on over here. Let me give this a quick refresh. Yeah, so one of the downsides that you get into, and this is going to happen on all of the various subreddits, is everybody is going to start doing these posts about, I just joined the club. I've joined the club. Here is my celebratory picture of, I've got a PSVR. I got all these games. I got the aim controller. You know, we've joined the club. We're going to see a ton of this. Look at packing up for the fam for a Xmas Eve adventure at the parents' house. By the way, is anybody taking, so tonight is Christmas Eve. Tomorrow is Christmas Day. Is anybody going to take their VR hardware on the road? Any kind of VR hardware that they have? I am going to take my Oculus Go. I'm going to take my Oculus Go with me. I'm going to my sister's house tonight for Christmas Eve. I will be bringing my Oculus Go. I'll be letting a number of people sample all kinds of things in there. I'm going to be showing off like Dear Angelica, which I think is really powerful. I'll be showing off Amaze 3D, which is also really powerful. So I will be showing off my Oculus Go tonight. And also tomorrow tomorrow on Christmas Day, I'll be showing my Oculus Go as well. But I was just curious, are any of you guys going to bring VR with you over to some kind of Christmas party? Curious about that. But yeah, a lot of people are jumping into the mix, and they are adding... a lot of people are jumping on board. We're going to have a lot of new people in VR over the next couple of days. There's definitely going to be some Oculus Rifts that are under the Christmas tree. There has to be, you know. There has to be some wives and girlfriends that have bought a Rift for their boyfriend, or families that have bought a Rift for their entire family. There's got to be some of that going on. See, look, getting a Rift today. So wife made me join the VR club. There's going to be lots of new users right here. Over the next 24 hours, there will be many new Oculus users. Let's remember to be a welcoming community for the new users. Absolutely. Giving the gift of Rift. A lot of people are going to get Rifts. Some people will get some Vives, and definitely a lot of Oculus Go's and a lot of PSVRs. A lot of PSVRs are going to be, especially PSVR. I think that like PSVR and Go are going to be the definitely the most popular. So how many people are on this PSVR subreddit? It's a little bit under 90,000. A little bit under 90,000. We are going to pass that 90,000 real quick. In a couple of days, there's going to be a lot of new people joining the club over these next couple of days. So, yeah, and guess what? Rec Room and some of these multiplayer games are going to just be flooded with a lot of kiddies that are going to be jumping in for the very first time. So that is going to be going on. Now, one of the things I will recommend, like we do, of course, have VRGameRankings.com. This is our top 50 most wanted VR games. We could talk about this a little bit. What our games are we looking for towards 2019? But the other thing I wanted to say is if you know somebody that has a brand new PlayStation VR, a brand new HTC Vive, or Oculus Rift, tell them about our top 100 charts. Maybe give them a link to our top 100 charts, because this is a great idea for somebody that just jumps aboard these new platforms. They get to see what the cream of the crop is. And that's one of the things where VR Game Rankings is actually a valuable resource for brand new people that have just gotten systems. Okay, so let's see what people here over in chat are talking about. And yeah, we're talking about some good old Atari days. Crunchy says, my dad got an Atari 2600 Christmas of 1984 when I was 4 years old. And Phil Urine says, Atari was good times. Yeah, I remember playing Air Sea Battle. And what were like the earliest Atari games? There was like Outlaw, basketball, baseball, football. I remember football was just three little dudes moving around on the screen was football. Combat. Yeah, I mean, Combat came in the box. You know, everybody got Combat. And you were like totally blown away that you could move around these like little things. And then the way the Atari worked is there were like 60 or 70 versions of whatever game it was. You had this switch that you could keep switching. And so you would be playing Combat, and you're just playing the basic Combat, but then they have like shots that ricochet off the walls, you know, all these different little things that you could add to it. And so you go through that and you do that. Yeah, Air Sea Battle, man. I played the living crap out of Air Sea Battle. I played basketball, baseball. Me and my brother, oh my God, dude. Me and my brother had epic battles playing baseball on the Atari 2600. The regular baseball game, was it home run? Was it I forget what it was called, but the very first baseball game that we had, because you could throw a pitch and you could make the pitch like you could make the pitch go straight, and then at the last second you make the pitch go that way. And so we would just me and my brother, man, that's all we did. We tried to master striking people out, like making the ball come towards your bat, and then at the last second, bam, move it that way and strike the person out. And like we just loved it because like and we would try to, you know, you would be batting and you knew that they were going to try to fake you out with that kind of pitch, so you would try to like not get caught by that, or you would do those real big curving pitches like that. Yeah, we played baseball for so many hours. Crunchy says, my favorite games were Adventure, Pitfall, River Raid, Combat, Missile, Command. Fluke Rogie, yeah, Combat, Air Sea Battle. I was young enough to not realize E.T. was a very good game. I was just E.T. obsessed at that time. Yeah, it wasn't a very good game. You know, I have a memory. Check this out. You want to talk about a memory? Okay, Space Invaders. When Space Invaders came to the Atari 2600, I was a little kid, and I remember me and my dad went to this place called Long's Drugs. There used to be a store in Sacramento. This is way back in the 70s and in the 80s. Actually, they still existed up until just recently, and I think they were bought out by CVS. But there used to be a store called Long's Drugs, and it was on Florin Road. And we waited in line. That was the day that Space Invaders was coming out. Space Invaders was coming out, and we waited in line to buy Space Invaders. And I remember just waiting in line with my dad to get Space Invaders. And we got the game home and just played Space Invaders all day long. It was absolutely magical. Going back up here, yeah, Jim Hall says Atari was the best back then. Then ColecoVision, then Intellivision, then ColecoVision. Yeah, we had friends that lived down the street that had like Intellivision, and they're like, dude, my baseball game has like 9 baseball players. Your baseball game has 3 players. And then ColecoVision, oh my God, you want to talk about Donkey Kong? Like if somebody in your neighborhood had ColecoVision and they had Donkey Kong, they're like, dude, I got the real Donkey Kong, bro. Like this is the real Donkey Kong. And we looked at that stuff like when I was a little kid and other people had Intellivision and ColecoVision, that was like the Neo Geo. It was like they had the Neo Geo and I had a regular Sega Genesis. They had the Neo Geo. That was the equivalent of that. I never owned an Intellivision, never owned a ColecoVision. The next system that we got was the Atari 800 XL. The Atari 800 XL, which was like a computer. And my dad paid a hell of a lot of money for that. And the idea was, oh, he'll do his homework on it and he'll do special school projects. And yeah, we'll budget. We'll do the monthly budget on the Atari 800 XL. Yeah, right. All we ever did was play games on it for the most part. Paradise Decay says Breakout. Breakout is an absolute classic. And that's kind of why I like Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is basically Breakout meets VR done very well. Yeah, so we're kind of going down, going down memory lane here with all the great old school games, Atari 2600 games, old Atari games, ColecoVision, and all of that. Paradise Decay says, I played Space Invaders when they first came out in arcades, and Defender. Yeah, the arcades, that's a whole nother ball game. But let's get off of all of this. Let's go back to modern day reality here. Let's see, what can we check out now? Well, I can go back to our web browser here, and one of the things we could do, we can always take a look at like Steam and see if there's any games that have been released recently, or let's check out what's going on over here. VR on Steam. Let's see. Let's click on HTC Vive, and let's just say release date. And let's see. Toter, bruh. Toter, bruh. No, it actually isn't out though, because it doesn't have a price. It just says this item is not yet available. Remember Toter? Toter is our game of the year. Okay, but yeah, scrolling through here, seeing if anything new is hit. Virtual Army Revolution. It's showing up on here, but is there a price? Nope. Release date pushed back for extra polish. So that hasn't happened quite yet. That is coming from Haptic Pulse. Star Blazer. Star Blazer is out there. It is available. Logo is halfway decent here. and that's going for 20 bucks, but it's on sale for 18. That is Star Blazer. But I was just seeing if there was, oh, Toy Shop VR. This is finally available now. It has a price. It's actually out and available. $8 for Toy Shop VR. I do believe it's quite colorful. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, so not a lot of, I mean, we really haven't had a big major release. The last big major release we have is pretty much like Contractors, right? I mean, Wrench. Okay, so Wrench is the last big major release. And before Wrench, Contractors, Shadow Uprising, and, you know, Welcome Above, Subject 264. So those are kind of some of the recent games to come down the pipes. Let's go ahead and go back to virtual reality here, and let's just click on upcoming, and let's see what they're showing on the upcoming. So, you know, looking at some of the upcoming games, Adoption, I've always liked this logo. Like, I like that logo. Like, I judge a lot of these games just based on their logo. And I like this. Now, this is Fair Game Studio. These are the guys, they released Protocol. Now, Protocol is a game that I never played, but it kind of looked kind of cool, looked kind of interesting, and I like that logo too. They've done some good logos. Aliens in the Yard. They also did this game way back in the days. Aliens in the Yard. Yeah, I remember seeing some video of this, and I thought it was kind of a good idea. Not too many reviews here. This is only 13 bucks. Aliens in the Yard. That is another Fair Game Studio production. But yeah, Adoption. Adoption. Think it looks like a pretty good logo. Looks kind of creepy here. That little girl running around looks kind of creepy. But we don't know when this is actually coming out. There's no date on it. It just says 2018. The Days After. The Days After looks pretty cool. This looks like a pretty cool zombie kind of a game. I've seen some of this, you know, I mean, like, that looks pretty dope. I think we previewed this one time on one of our hidden gem shows that we did. Hidden VR gems. So the Days After, Adoption, those might be coming at some point. Continuing to scroll down. See, a lot of these don't mean anything to me. Now, maybe one of these games is incredibly awesome. Maybe Dodgeball Simulator VR is next level. Maybe it is. I don't know. But these games don't really mean a hell of a lot. I'm going to go to page number 2. Space Junkies. You know, when are we going to get a date on Space Junkies? It's kind of weird what has happened with Space Junkies because they had so much hype. There was so much hype and so much interest in Space Junkies for a little while. A lot of people talking. I remember there was a lot of people talking in chat. Anthony, have you played Space Junkies? Anthony, have you played Space Junkies? And now they've waited so long that they've lost some of that hype factor. I wonder if part of this was they wanted to get the hell out of the way because of Echo Combat. Echo Combat for $9.99. Maybe they decided that it was just too similar. Like, it's just a little bit too close to Echo Combat. And so Ubisoft just wanted to get the hell out of Dodge as far as release dates, release windows. I wonder if we're going to get Space Junkies in January, February, March. You'd have to imagine it's coming at one of these times. Border Patrol. This game has had a free demo for the longest time, but we haven't really heard anything about the game. It's from Paw Print Games. Looks kind of interesting. Kind of like Papers, Please, but in VR. And we continue to scroll down on a shiitake mushroom show on Christmas Eve, nonetheless. Seeing if I can actually make it through a full hour. I don't know about that. We're running out of stuff. Yeah, Mosh Pit Simulator. You know, Mosh Pit Simulator is kind of interesting. We do have an actual legit date for this. This is January 15th. So we do have a date for this. Really weird looking. I mean, really weird and bizarre. It's almost like it was designed on purpose for a lot of goofy Let's Plays, like for PewDiePie and people like that. Jacksepticeye, almost like designed deliberately for like Jacksepticeye, PewDiePie, and all these people that like to do crazy Let's Plays. Durrell Valley, you know, we do have a date now. This is January 18th. This is Alt Future Durrell Valley is going to be coming down the pipes. We got to remember that. Fisherman's Tale, January 22nd. We got a date on this, so we do have some games of January. I will be doing, on January 1st, I got to do our January show where we're going to, we'll highlight all the games that have been locked in the month of January. District Steel, this one I'm really hyped for. It was updated as a Q1 2019, but we don't have any more information on that. Of course, Shadow Legend VR. This one has a lot of hype. This is February. I mean, it looks really good. They're kind of gunning for like Skyrim and stuff. Like, look at how much color and vibrancy they're throwing on the screen here. There's a lot of things floating around in the air. Look at this. Every single screenshot has like fireflies, little mist. Like, they really love having a lot of little things float around in the air. Every single screenshot. Like, I guess this one doesn't have anything floating around in the air, but just about every other one does. Then we have Hollow Point Chronicle, which I'm not really sure what this is. It's kind of like a spin-off, I guess, from Hollow Point. I've never played Hollow Point. How crazy is that? Hollow Point is one of the games I just never played. Let's go to page number 5 and see what we're looking at here. Yeah, Pros, did anybody try the demo for this? There was a demo for Pros. Wasn't that great, but I don't know. This might have some promise. This could be one of these games that have a bit of promise. Kind of reminds me of, what were those games? They're made by like an Eastern European, and they always do like these first-person shooters that are kind of like in Chernobyl and stuff. I forget what it's called. Zed. Zed is hyped. A lot of people are very hyped on this. This is a spring release. Blunt Force is looking really, really good. I mean, graphically looks very powerful. So these are some of the games that are going to be coming along in 2019 at some point in time. But anyway, guys, we pretty much have ran through everything here. There's really not much going on. Probably didn't really need to do an episode today, to be totally honest with you, but I do this thing. We call it VR365, so I figure I got to bring out a show 365 days a year. Yes, I have missed a couple of episodes here, a couple of episodes there, but I bang away for the most part. Even if there's nothing to talk about, I will bang away and try to do something. Try to put something out there. My throat is killing me. Apologies for any weird little noises I'm making. Also, my nose is very plugged up. Apologies for that as well. So one thing I do need to mention, guys, is episode 4 of our Let's Play series is going to be uploading in the near future. In fact, as soon as I'm done with this show, I will begin the upload process with my 4th Let's Play. This one is going to be damn near 40 minutes long. Damn near 40 minutes long. Now, Conrad Lawrence says, what about feedback? Wait a minute, what about feedback? Okay, we can do that real quick. Let's see here. So what do we got to do here? We got to go to YouTube. And let's go to, okay, well, here is VR365. Okay, why don't we check this one? I haven't checked any comments for this episode. Let me check this episode. So we have MC Schwartz. Just bought VR Sports Challenge. Thanks for the heads up. Wish Robo Recall would go on sale. Got enough games to hold me over. So how did you get your touch controllers? I wonder if you got like used touch controllers or something and somebody activated the Robo Recall code. Because is that still free with touch, or now do you have to buy it? I don't know how that works. Hussein X says, Conrad Lawrence was asking how long Zing was. I completed it fully, getting all collectibles, including optional puzzles. Took me 19 hours. Wow. So Hussein X, he knows how awesome Zing the Land Beyond is, and it is available for $10. Okay, here we have VR Mania Q. Says, Megaton Rainfall, one of the best for me, just about flying around. I play it standing up with motion controllers, but I play it wireless. Okay, there you go, Fluke. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Somebody that actually likes Megaton Rainfall. I like it. I mean, it's not the greatest VR game ever, but I like Megaton. VR Spry Guy says, oh no, a show about game sales. I keep saying I won't buy any games until I get caught up with the games I have already. Yeah, remember the rules. Here is the rules. If you buy a brand new game, you gotta put 20 minutes into the game today. You don't have to finish the game, but you gotta put 20 minutes into the game. That is my rule, because if you follow that rule, you'll find yourself buying a hell of a lot of less games. You really will, because are you really going to go into that game today? You're probably not. And we don't want to just collect Steam games, do we? But actually, it's probably good for the industry that you guys are collecting these games. It's not good for your bank account, but it is good for your industry. I mean, it's good for our industry. Hussein X says, great show, showcasing good bargain titles. Yeah. And Lee Tobin, French fries under the car seat as sure. Oh no, I don't want to read that. I do not want to read that. You know, I did have a couple of downvotes yesterday, and I'm guessing some of these downvotes. See, the thing is, I made a nice video. I made a really nice video for the 3 bangers under $3, a little tiny video. I made a nice video for 10 strong games under $4. And then I didn't have any other videos, and I had a plan of doing all the different videos, but it took a lot longer than I ever thought it would, and I ran out of time. And so it was just me with lists on the screen. Like, how boring is this? Like, look at, you scroll through this, and it's mostly me just talking with a list that's on the screen. That's kind of boring. I could see how that would be very boring. So that is some of the feedback there. Let's go to the Magic Leap episode. This one, yeah, this one was definitely one for the ages. It's so funny, too, because in the beginning, I'm like, I'm not going to talk very long about Magic Leap. I can guarantee you that. I am not talking very long about Magic Leap. And then I end up talking like for 50 minutes about Magic Leap. And it almost turned into a situation where, you know, this is what happened during this show. What actually happened during this show is like, I felt like chat was turning on me in a major way. And it was like I was battling against chat. And chat was turning on me. So I dug my heels deeper. And I just went even harder with my viewpoints, which made chat just turn on me more, which made me dig my heels in harder. And that's how you end up with this show. I didn't back down. Chat didn't back down. And we just got crazy. So let's take a look at a couple of these comments. I apologize. My nose is like damn near totally plugged. Okay, Tony Salisbury says, I don't want to play a game in my own house. These AR experiences will wear off quickly as you'll get bored of being in the same environment. I enjoy VR to totally escape into alien fantasy fictional worlds that are all around me. Read more. Maybe you should start an AR 365 channel, Anthony. These Magic Leap episodes don't do it for me. Enjoy your videos, though, in general. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, we don't have a lot of Magic Leap episodes very often. Now, this Magic Leap episode was very much, it was because I saw that tested video, and I thought they did a really good job. I really liked that tested video. And I thought they did a really good job. And I thought, you know what, I could take a couple of clips from this tested video and we can kind of go through it. I didn't think I was going to spend 50 minutes on it. I really didn't. That just kind of randomly happened. Now, what Tony Salisbury is speaking to is the same thing that Jim Hall talks about. And basically what he's saying is you're going to get sick of seeing the same wall, the same floor, the same ceiling. You're going to get sick of it. And you're going to be like, dude, I don't want to play a game where I keep seeing my same wall. I'm going to get sick of it. Now, my response to that is that AR games, see, I'm talking 10 years in the future. I'm not talking about the AR stuff that we're seeing right now. I think there's going to be AR things where you're going to have like a human creature that's standing like 7 feet away from you, and it's not going to be semi-transparent. It's going to be there, standing right there, and it's going to be talking to you, and it's going to throw you something, and you're going to have to catch it. And then there's going to be something else over here. Then there's going to be something flying around in the air that you have to pull out your gun and shoot it real quick. And then there's going to be something over there that comes through that. So things are going to be happening. basically what I'm trying to say is you're going to ignore the background. The background is not going to be part of it. So I don't think that is going to be as big of a deal as you think it will be. But I mean, I understand what you're saying here. And then I also said, like, you're going to have AR experiences that are going to lead you in outdoors. They're going to lead you into your front yard. They're going to lead you into the backyard. You know, who knows what we're going to do. In fact, eventually it's going to get into a situation where there's legal ramifications. The government is going to have to step in at a certain point. Could you imagine an AR experience? It starts off in your house. You're having an AR experience in your house, and the AR experience actually wants you to go outside, get in your car, and drive somewhere, and that's actually part of the AR experience. And there will be like, like Death Race 2000, like they'll be rolling senior citizens out into the middle of the street in wheelchairs, and you got to take them out, straight up Death Race 2000. So they're going to have to legislate this. The government is going to have to get involved. You guys are thinking that AR is like you're going to have an AR experience just in your one room. No, it's going to leak out everywhere. It's going to be a different kind of a thing. But you know what? We've been going for right around an hour, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and call this. It is Christmas Eve. I got some stuff I got to do. I might still have some presents I got to buy. So I got some stuff I got to get into. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce out of here. And like I said, I will have a Let's Play that is going to be popping on my YouTube channel in the not too distant future. It's going to take forever for it to freaking upload. I need new internet service like a mofo, let me tell you. But I do have a Let's Play coming. It's a 40-minute banger. It's a 40-minute Let's Play. And the reason I went ahead and left it like a real long Let's Play because it'll make sense. It'll make sense. So, I will have that Let's Play coming. So look forward to that. I will be back on Christmas Day. Yes, tomorrow on Christmas Day, I will have another one of these episodes. Hopefully, maybe I'll actually have a few things figured out before the episode, something legitimate to talk about. But I will be back on Christmas Day. So I will see you guys hopefully 11 a.m. tomorrow on Christmas Day. I will see everybody then. Take it easy. Later.